On February 2nd, 1996, 14-year-old Barry Loukaitis walked into his algebra classroom at Frontier Middle School in Moses Lake, Washington, armed with a .30-30 hunting rifle and 2 handguns. Wearing a long trench coat, he concealed the weapons as he entered the classroom. Without warning, he pulled out the rifle and began firing, immediately killing his teacher, Leona Cares, and 2 students, Manuel Vila and Arnold Fritz. Another student, 13-year-old Natalie Hint, was critically injured but survived the attack. As Barry continued firing, chaos erupted in the classroom. Students dug for cover, scrambling to escape the line of fire. Some ran out of the room while others cowered under desks, trying to avoid being shot. Barry appeared emotionless, methodically aiming at his victims. Witnesses later recalled that he displayed no hesitation, no remorse, and no outward signs of distress as he carried out the attack. The massacre was brought to an end when John Lane, a gym coach, entered the classroom after hearing the gunshots. Seeing Barry holding the rifle, Lane quickly assessed the situation and decided to intervene. Risking his own life, he lunged at the young gunman, managing to wrestle the firearm away. Lane subdued Barry and pinned him against the wall until law enforcement arrived. Thanks to his bravery, further loss of life was prevented. Barry was taken into custody without further resistance. During his interrogation, he showed little emotion and gave cryptic responses about his motives. It was later revealed that Barry had carefully planned the attack, modeling it after violent movies and literature. One of the most disturbing influences was Stephen King's novel Rage, which detailed a student holding his classmates hostage at gunpoint. Investigators also discovered that Barry had been fascinated by real-life school shootings and had written disturbing journal entries about committing violence himself. During his trial, Barry's defense argued that he suffered from bipolar disorder and depression, conditions that were exacerbated by years of being bullied. His legal team claimed that he was not in full control of his actions and should be considered for a lesser sentence. However, the prosecution countered that Barry had deliberately planned the attack and had full knowledge of what he was doing. They pointed to his methodical execution of the shooting, his lack of remorse, and his detailed writings about committing mass murder. In 1997, Barry Loukaitis was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of second-degree murder, and 1 count of attempted murder. He was sentenced to 2 life terms plus an additional 205 years in prison, ensuring that he would never be released. His conviction stood as one of the harshest penalties given to a juvenile school shooter at the time. Years later, in 2017, Barry was granted a resentencing hearing due to changes in juvenile sentencing laws. The U.S. Supreme Court had ruled that mandatory life sentences without parole for juveniles were unconstitutional, prompting many states to reconsider long sentences given to young offenders. During the hearing, Barry expressed deep remorse for his actions, apologizing to the victims' families and stating that he wished he could take back what he had done.
I should have to go through that. And it was because I was stupid, and because I was pathetic, and because I was weak.
Despite his plea for leniency, the court upheld his sentence, though he was given the possibility of parole after serving 25 years. The families of the victims expressed relief that Barry would remain incarcerated for the foreseeable future. The case of Barry Loukaitis remains a grim reminder of the dangers of unchecked mental health struggles, the influence of violent media, and the devastating consequences of school shootings.